All right. We have only a few more lessons left. Lesson 11, I split into two parts, mainly because it is a couple different techniques for responsive design. And I think it's easier to digest if you learn one technique week and another technique the next week. So this week, we are going to be learning about it's called grid view. It's also called float. It is a technique for laying out your web page. Okay. And then we're also going to learn a lot more about mobile and mobile design and mobile size measurements. So, if you are going to specify the size of an image, or specify the size of your fonts. What are good mobile measurements? Okay, so we get into all of that this week. So you're going to start with the web-based readings. Okay, and this kind of covers, all of the main things we're going to talk about this week. We are going to talk about media queries. Um, so media queries are used if you need to tweak something in the layout to make it look good on different device sizes. So let's say you've got a responsive layout, but there needs to be a little tweak when you view it on a phone. So how do I do that little tweak so it only affects the mobile phone layout? Okay, that's where we use media queries. So we are going to be learning about those this week. Okay, and that is all in the lecture demo, also in the web-based readings. And then once you get done with the readings, then we are going to go ahead and do the textbook assignment. And so what you are going to do is you are going to convert an existing site to a responsive grid view site. So you're going to actually take your Acme vertical folder and copy it from lesson 10 to lesson 11, and then you're going to be converting this into a responsive grid. And this is the CSS that you need to do it. And you will also need to go in and edit all of the pages because you're going to have to add the column class to every single page. Okay. Also, this is last but not least, this viewport meta tag has to go in the heading, the head section of the page, and that makes the page responsive. Okay, so that's super important. If you don't do that, when your page loads on mobile, like on a phone, it may be way zoomed out. Okay, it may look strange. And this is telling it to adjust the width of your page for the width of the device and, make the scale at 100%. So it should look the way you have designed it to look. Okay, so super important tag that you need to put in every single responsive page. And then I'm giving you a made up, it's a fictional spa that I made up that you will be downloading. It's got several pages, and you are going to be converting this into a responsive site. Okay, so that's pretty much what the rest of the tasks involve. So once you get the content responsive, then you're going to work on a printer-friendly CSS. So we'll specify that this is only for printing. And then you basically strip out all of the pictures, all of the color. You make the width of everything 100%. You adjust the size of the text. And again, you're making it for printing. Okay, so you will do that. And then finally, you'll be inserting some attributes and some meta tags for SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. And all of this is covered in the lecture demo. Okay. Finally, this last task shows you how to use Chrome's built-in mobile simulator or emulator. Okay, how to get in there and turn it on so you can see what your page is going to look like on different devices. And I have videos that show you how to do all of this stuff. After you finish the textbook assignment, you'll move on to the lab assignment. And the lab assignment that you are going to be working on this week and next week can be used as a basis for your term project. Because a lot of the requirements, in fact, all the requirements that are in the lab assignment for this week and the lab assignment for next week are included in the term project. Term project has some additional requirements. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are doing this assignment. Okay, because if you like it, then you can simply copy everything in it, put it in your final project folder, and then add the different requirements that are missing. Okay, so it'll make doing your term project 100% easier. Okay, so make sure you take time on this week's assignment and next week's assignment so that you can use that as a basis for your term project. So basically, you're going to be creating your own grid view page. You do need an external CSS file. I have a video that goes through all the requirements, so I'm not going to go through them to duplicate that effort, but you are going to have printer-friendly CSS and screen CSS, and I have several examples and for you guys to look at. Okay, so this is one example. This is another. And then this is another, and this links out. So this is probably one of my favorites. And I've already included some of the requirements in this one for the term project. You'll probably notice a little menu up here. This is a JavaScript menu. Okay, and you guys haven't learned that yet, but for the term project, you will have to have some JavaScript component. So kind of ignore that. But the rest of this, is grid view. I mean, that is the responsive layout that was used. Okay, so that's what you should be focusing on with this example. Okay, so read through the requirements, make sure that you have included all of them. Okay, and just know that if you really like your page, yeah, you can use it for your term project. You're just going to have to add in the requirements that you're missing. Okay, and so that is what we're working on this week. If you run into problems or have questions, please let me know because I am here to help you. And I hope you guys have fun with the responsive format for this week. And I should mention that for the content in the lab assignment, you can certainly reuse that content next week when we learn our final responsive layout.